Hello everyone, and welcome to this demonstration, how to successfully publish your XBRL 2021 report. First of all, the success of this project depends on a full-scale test of the 2020 document filing. During this demonstration, we will explain the necessary steps to be carried out in 2021 and 2022. First, let us start explaining the steps to be carried out in 2021. The first step is the 2020 mapping, which consists of the mapping of the 2020 financial statements. The mapping allows you to reconcile your primary financial statements with the taxonomy. It also allows extensions to be defined when reconciliation is not possible. Most companies entrust this mapping to an accounting firm, such as Global Connect Admin. These firms then formalize the mapping in the form of an Excel file. The second step is setting up the 2020 taxonomy. This step consists of setting up a taxonomy in accordance with the mapping in the Amelkis XBRL application. Global Connect Consultancy can perform this task for you. Nevertheless, setting up the 2020 taxonomy is quite simple. This task consists of reformatting the Excel mapping in order to import it directly into the Amelkis XBRL application. This Excel import function automatically creates a taxonomy in accordance with your mapping. If you want to learn more about the mapping process, we can provide you an Amelkis training video. The third step is tagging the 2020 Universal Registration document. To start tagging, a tagging file must be created which specifies the tag to be applied to each amount. This file is then loaded into the Amelkis XBRL software. To trigger the automatic tagging, you only have to select the tables. Global Connect Consultancy sets up the tagging file for all customers to validate the entire process. If you would like to learn more about how to effectively control and update your tagging, we can provide you another Amelkis training video. The fourth step is checking compliance rules. This step consists of checking that the taxonomy and tagging are in accordance with the rules defined by the ESEF. The Amelkis XBRL application can generate this report directly. This report is systematically commented on by Amelkis in order to facilitate the understanding of possible anomalies. These anomalies sometimes require issuers to review their mapping. In this case, Global Connect Consultancy makes the desired changes. The fifth step is exporting XBRL files. This step consists of exporting the two mandatory XBRL files. The first mandatory XBRL file is the Universal Registration document in HTML format. This document allows the reader to view the tags. This document is essential for checking the completeness and consistency of the tagging. It also allows the quality of the HTML conversion to be checked. The second XBRL file, which is mandatory, are the XBRL zip files. The XBRL zip files contain all the mandatory files, namely the taxonomy and the XHTML file. Let us now move to the next steps to be taken in 2022. The first step is the 2021 mapping. This step will involve analyzing the 2021 consolidated financial statements as soon as possible. If new lines appear, you will need to complete the 2020 mapping file by inserting the new lines. You should then send this file to the firm that carried out the 2020 mapping and ask them to map the new lines. To facilitate this work, you should also send them your 2021 consolidated statements. Do pay attention that you do not forget to update the footnotes in the mapping. If you plan to add this type of information, you must define the mapping. The second step is the 2021 taxonomy setup. This step will consist of updating your taxonomy in the Amelkis XBRL software. If you have not modified your mapping, you can use the same taxonomy as for tagging the Universal Registration document of 2020. To update your taxonomy, you have two options. The first option is to send your new mapping to Global Connect Consultancy. Global Connect Consultancy will then update, test and validate your taxonomy files. The second option is to do this work yourself. If you need any assistance, you can watch Amelkis training videos or contact Global Connect Consultancy. The third step is tagging the consolidated accounts of 2021. This step will consist of tagging an extract of the universal registration document containing the consolidated financial statements, as soon as this part is available. We recommend to not wait for the final universal registration document to test your tagging, especially if the taxonomy has changed regarding 2020. You have two options to perform this test. The first option is to send your consolidated financial statements, either in Word or PDF format, to Global Connect Consultancy. Global Connect Consultancy will then update your tagging file, tag your document, generate the XBRL files, and send you a documented compliance report. The second option is to do this work yourself. Once again, you can watch Amelkis training videos or request support from Global Connect Consultancy. The fourth step is tagging the first version of the universal registration document of 2021. This test will be very efficient and quick, since the consolidated accounts are already tagged and validated. This test will then validate the HTML conversion of the document, ensure that the graphical elements are converted and that the tagging does not cause any problems. You can now tag descriptive information that was not present in the consolidated accounts. You will have two options for completing this test. The first option is to send your universal registration PDF document to Global Connect Consultancy. Global Connect Consultancy will then tag your document, generate the XBRL files, and send you a commented compliance report. The second option is, once again, to do this work yourself, with the help of the numerous Amelkis training videos and assistance from Global Connect Consultancy. The fifth step is tagging the final version of the 2021 Universal Registration Document. This step will consist of tagging, checking and submitting the final document to the authority. You will have two options. The first option is to send your Universal Registration Document in PDF to Global Connect Consultancy. Global Connect Consultancy will then tag and send you a commented compliance report. The second option is to carry out this work yourself, and with the help and support of the Amelkis training videos and assistance from Global Connect Consultancy. We will assist you with document exchanges, progress monitoring, descriptive information, and footnotes. Amelkis has set up a secure platform for document exchanges. Each customer receives access codes, allowing them to submit or download documents. For each year, the directory structure is identical. For example, you will find the Universal Registration Document 2020 and an Information and Progress directory, which contains an Excel follow-up file. You can also find documents with a tag directory with different versions of documents to tag. Lastly, Amelkis XBRL provides a directory which consists of the latest version of the mapping to be applied, as well as the precise description of the descriptive information to be tagged and the latest footnotes. The Amelkis XBRL settings directory contains the taxonomy file and the tagging file to import into the application to automatically tag your tables. The export XBRL files directory contains, for each performed tagging, the tagged document and HTML, the XBRL zip file, and the commented compliance report. Amelkis has also set up a progress monitoring section. The follow-up section allows you to know at any time the progress of your filing. This file is accessible in the shared folder. This section indicates the name of the interlocutors who must be in the copies of the exchanges, the name of the firm in charge of the mapping, the name of the audit firm, the available dates of the different documentations versions to tag, and the official deposit date. The section also specifies the following: the Universal Registration Document, whether it's designed in-house or by an agency, if the mapping has been modified compared to the previous year, and if the mapping has been validated by the statutory auditors. And finally, the section will also show the progress of the mapping, the progress of the taxonomy configuration, progress in tagging of the consolidated accounts, progress in tagging of the first version of the reference document, progress in tagging of the latest version of the reference document, and the filing date of the registration document. We would like to re-emphasize the importance of the descriptive information and footnotes. As you have seen during this presentation, Amelkis XBRL allows you to effectively prepare for the tagging of tables. One common challenge often stems from the tagging of footnotes and descriptive information. It very often happens that new footnotes appear at the last moment without having been documented in the mapping. You should therefore remember to update your mapping as soon as these footnotes appear. The second challenge comes from tagging of descriptive information. This form of tagging is often done manually. At the screen, we now show you two presentation examples that facilitate the tagging of descriptive information. This manual form of tagging consists of selecting the text at the precise location in the document, to then tag what is corresponding to it. It is not uncommon to see that groups have not been precise enough, which can waste a lot of time for the people doing the tagging. You have two possibilities to facilitate the work of the person in charge of the tagging. You can either precisely fill out descriptive data to then tag the text and its source, but please do notice that you cannot tag the same text twice. Or you can include a table in your universal registration document, as shown here, which represents all the necessary information. From experience, we recommend the second solution. The presentation is now over. The Global Connect Consultancy team remains at your disposal and wishes you a successful ESEF 2021 campaign.